What's up, good people? What's up, good people? It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder, coming to you. Y'all know it's another what? Y'all know what we do on Mondays. We move, motivate, and it's our mindset on Monday. And that's going right into what I'm going to be dealing with this week. Y'all know what we do. We get moving on Monday because that's one of the most important days. We're setting the tone for the rest of our week. What I'm going to be talking about this week, actually, I'm going to be talking about this week. I told y'all I'm giving y'all principles all week that we need in order to be able to build our business, to build our brand, and to build ourselves too on a personal level. So I want to be able to do that. And I was thinking this weekend about what I wanted to talk about. Actually, I thought about this last week, but I certainly was thinking about these, what I wanted to bring this weekend. And I wanted to talk about this week 10 principles for strong leadership. Y'all know I'm big on leadership. Leadership is something that I'm adamant about. Leadership is something that I think is sorely needed in this day and time. If you look at the news, you can tell what is lacking in leadership across the board. And when I talk about leadership, I'm talking about those pillars in our community. I'm talking about the family, education, government, business, and the church. Being a leader in all of those areas, or in one of those areas, whichever one may apply to you. I want you to think about those things. What does strong leadership look like? What does strong leadership look like? So here are the principles that we're going to be talking about this week, and I got 10 of them. So I got to do two each day. So, but they go with mindset. The mindset. What kind of a mindset should you have as a leader? Are you a reader as a leader? Are you selfless as a leader? Are you relentless as a leader? What passion do you have as a leader? Do you have consistency as a leader? Do you have vision as a leader? Are you a visionary? Talking about how organized are you? And then are you a communicator? And I'm going to give you all these all week. So if you don't get it, you can catch the replay as well too. But I want you to write these down because we're going to be talking about these ad nauseum this week. So I want you to be able to hone in on them, take notes, be able to use them, whether it's on your job or whether it's in your everyday life or personal life as well. Being a leader, specifically, you want to be able to make sure, hey, do I have these principles, or what are these things that I need to be working on? We're in the second quarter, y'all. In the second quarter of 2023, and this is go time. This is when you should be getting into your groove as a leader. With your business, you should be getting into that groove as an entrepreneur. So you want to make sure that you have a clear understanding of what, strong leadership looks like. So let's start with the mindset, and let's start with being a reader. The mindset of a leader. The mindset of a leader should be one who is always learning, but then also paying attention and being aware of what's going on and listening. You want to make sure your mindset should be, okay, in order to be able to be who it is and take the people where it is that I'm trying to take them, I've got to set the tone for the mindset. If you ever look at, and I use this a lot because they personified this, and I'll use 3. I'm going to use Magic Johnson, I'm going to use Kobe Bryant, I'm going to use Michael Jordan, I'm going to use 4, and then Dr. Martin Luther King. For the mindset of those, and each of them are leaders in their own great way, right? They are. Magic Johnson was competitive, super competitive, but his mindset was, you're not going to beat me. I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to look at what you do, and I'm going to do it better. I'm going to look at what I do and do it better. And he often talked about in his interviews, he was always looking to see what Larry Bird did. Because his mindset was, I've got to be better than who I feel is right there on my level. Same thing with Michael Jordan. Same thing with Kobe Bryant. Now, Dr. King and Brother Malcolm X, that's number 5. I'll give you 5 of them. But Brother Malcolm X, even though they had 2 different ideologies and 2 different ways of how to get us where they wanted to get us, their mindset met at when it came to us as a people. They wanted to see us as people succeed. That was their ultimate goal, was to see us succeed. That was their goal. That was their mindset. What do I need to do? How do I take this group of people, a community, and get them to where it is that we need to be as a people? That was their mindset. It was always about who we were as a people. So your mindset as a leader is going to set the tone for those that follow you. Notice those that followed Dr. King. Notice those that followed Brother Malcolm X. And how they took on the mindset of them. They believed in what each of those leaders said to them, talked to them. And there's a scene in the movie X, where this young boy comes to Malcolm, and he says, "I want to do what you do." And he has Brother Malcolm has a conversation with the man. He said he wanted to be a Muslim. He said, "Do you understand what it takes to be a Muslim? Do you have the mindset of a Muslim?" And the young boy was just like, "I just want to be like you." And we have to understand that as leaders, people are going to look at you for the answers. They're going to look at you for solutions to what it is that's ailing us. And even so, we have to be careful of how we think or the way we think. And Brother Malcolm and Dr. King, and I'm going to throw, I got so many, but Fred Hampton, their mindset was so focused on the next move that we had to make as a people. What did we need to do in order to be able to be free, in order to be able to have our voices heard? That was their objective, bottom line. So what's your mindset? As a leader, what's your mindset? On this Monday, I want you to think about this. I want you to take 10, 15 minutes. What's your mindset going into this week? Is it one of confidence? Is it one of I have to accomplish this? I have to do this? Is it one of worry? Oh, I don't know how this is going to turn out. Is it one of I don't know what I'm doing? What's your mindset going into this week? Or is it, I'm going to outwork everybody today. I'm going to be better than I was yesterday or Friday. What's your mindset? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is that we're talking about today. The second principle is being a reader. It's kind of cliche-ish, but they say readers are leaders. And that is so true. So how much reading are you doing on a weekly basis? How many books do you read? How many magazine articles, newspapers do you read? How much reading do you do? Versus how much time you spend on that device you got, on the on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram. My goal this year is to read 35 books. Because I understand that, one, it exercises your brain muscle, but it also gives you, it helps you with your language, understanding vocabulary. It increases your vocabulary. And as leaders, you should want to always be learning something. And that's where books teach us. Books teach us to learn, things that we would not know. They said the average person only reads about 1 book a year. So can you imagine that if you're reading 35 books versus someone reading 1 book, how much more knowledge will you have? How much more information have you gathered? And then, like I said, just like we exercise our physical bodies, the part of that is exercising our brain. Our brain is a big muscle, and it has to be exercised. So we've got to get back to making reading important. Leaders, that's what leaders do. So I don't even, for those that are leaders, I know I don't have to tell you that, because we're constantly looking for additional ways to be able to learn things, to be able to put things together and all of those things. Audiobooks, you can listen to an audiobook. Listen, what are you reading? What are you listening to? Yeah, we have books on, on audio now. So you don't necessarily have to physically read books, which is what I love to do. Turn the pages. But you should be reading something. You should be reading. And also reading will assist you in your mindset, because you'll take the mindset the information that you're gathering, and it'll begin to hopefully shape and mold the way that you think, which is your mindset and how you go about approaching things and thinking about things. But you can't have the right mindset if you aren't reading those things that assist you in getting that mindset. And books will certainly assist you in being able to do that. Not just books, like I said, there's magazines, there's newspapers, all of those great things that will assist you in being a stronger leader. Because that's what leadership is. That's what leaders do. And even as a leader, you should be doing more than those that you're leading. Dr. King, I know, was an avid reader. Malcolm X was an avid reader. President Obama was an avid reader. President Bill Clinton was a avid reader. So those that are leaders, they take the time to read, to learn, to understand, because it's going to lead into everything else that I'm going to be talking about this week. These 10 principles. And you notice I started off with mindset, because everything begins with our mindset. Everything begins with our mindset. If the mindset isn't there, we go nowhere. And our mindset as leaders has to be that of a leader. A leader, and I say this all the time, a leader is someone who listens and learns, who empowers, who assists, who develops, who executes, and who gets results. And you as a leader have to adapt. That mindset has to go into everything that you do. You got to want to listen and learn. You got to want to empower. You got to want to assist. You got to want to develop. You got to want to execute. And you've got to want to get results. That's the mindset of a leader. When you think of leadership, you should be thinking of those things. And as I was looking at the list for the principles that I was developing, that I'd written down this weekend, and I was looking at the movie. I watched the movie Selma came on. And I was looking at the portion of the movie that I came in on, and I was marveling just at how the great of a leader that Dr. King was. There were things that I know he didn't want to do, and that were difficult. But that's what leaders do. But his mindset was that this is bigger than me. And even though I may not, I have to figure these things out. And he did figure out what the next thing was going to do, what was needed to be done. And he's on the phone with the President of the United States. This was just after there was I don't know if he was a rabbi or a priest, but I know it was a white clergyman who was down for the march in Selma. And he had been killed. And they tell Dr. King that he had been killed. And he, give me the phone. He gets right on the phone with then President Johnson and starts laying into the President of the United States, going back and forth with him. And his mindset was, we've got to do something. And he tells the president of the United States, he was like, look, I'm just a preacher, you know, and a part of a movement. He said, you are the president of the United States. You have the power to be able to do something and stop this right away. Now, if Dr. King didn't have the mindset that he had, he'd have backed down. But his mindset was, I've got to push in order to be able to get something done, even if it is the president of the United States. But when you have the mindset of a leader, you're going to push yourself beyond what even your expectations are. So think about that today. As you're reading, think about pushing your mindset beyond your expectations. It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder. You know, today I'm going for my walk later, so I'm in the lab. I'm in the lab today doing this, but the rest of the week I should be outside. But I'm going for the walk after I do a couple other things. So I couldn't go out this morning. Wasn't going out this morning, but I wanted to do it a little later. So, but today, the mindset of a leader. What's your mindset? Set the tone for the rest of the week with your mindset. Read something. What are you reading today? What are you reading this week? How many books have you read thus far in 2023? I'm going to challenge you on that. How many books have you read? We're going into the second quarter. We're in April. We're in the fourth month. How many books have you read? It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow as we go more into these 10 principles for strong leadership. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a great, great Monday.